the control buttons became active again.
Bird? Whoa. Birds! Birds!
Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Stanley Parable. I am still going to enter the date correctly. Ah, 2 point... Or could you simply not resist giving me the correct time? I've entered the correct date 3 times into this. Well, after all, I know how much you enjoy setting the time correctly. Oh, can I just say, regardless of the accuracy of the clock, I'm having a great time adjusting these settings. I feel like I'm learning about more about you and how you like things to be set. It's good to collect data. I wish we had more sliders, but we've gone through all the sliders I have. Perhaps I can invent some new sliders to gather new data on you. Shouldn't be too hard, yeah. Let me whip up a couple new ones. Be ready by the next time you beat up the game. Thank you. So I did a little bit of
This
digging.
is the story of a...
I got to this area, and I went into this area. You guys have missed out on some content, but, you know.
Psst! Stanley! Come over here! In the vent! I want to show you something!
I was not expecting this coffee nut. This game to be like this, but welcome to the new content.
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past, and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret.
I am the game. I'm not the developers.
The memory zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC. You see, Stanley, doesn't the memory zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release? Remember back in October of 2013 when the game originally launched?
No, I was 307 then, and I was still suffering from Alzheimer's.
Something. Oh, the waste.
I just want you guys to know that I look more human right now, and you can see my flaws better, and I look more like an old crazy man. My eyebrow waggling. I appreciate that. What? Oh, wait, hold on. What?
Is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable.
I don't remember this.
Like this stunning triumph of games journalism. 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com.
Thank you, Destructoid.
James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created.
I don't think it was Persona. I'm going to be real with you, Mr. Parable Man.
And now, it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just
it's weird.
Now, a lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
So I started this game up again, and I got to a certain point, and I was like, all right, I can't continue by that point. By that point, I was like, this is too much. I want to be able to share this with viewers. And I want to. I
Here's
heard that there's some
another moving
emotional weight
passage,
behind it,
this time from GameSpot.com.
but I don't
The
know
Stanley
about the
Parable
emotional
is
weight
both
other
a
than
richly
it should be
stimulating
something
commentary
that
on the
fucks with my
nature
head.
of choice in games, and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The
I like
game
how my
was
hair
perfect. It didn't need anything else.
Working
It
with
didn't
my eyebrows.
need new
They're the
content.
same person right now.
It just needed to be left alone, to spend the rest of time collecting dust in the hallowed hall of beloved video game memories.
By the way, this is not actually pickle juice. This is water. Here it looks green, but on the camera it looks white, or not white. It looks clear. I washed it out before I used it, so it should just be a clean pickle jar. I don't know why my brain is
These were
considering it
simpler
green.
times, Stanley. But I
Placebo
wouldn't give
effect,
to
maybe?
go back to have it all over again.
Because when I look at the camera, when I look at you guys, I see the pickle jar
Wait,
as something that's
hang on.
clear.
I don't recall this part of the memory zone before.
I
What's
do not
this? What's
either.
down here? Oh,
What's
no.
down here is
Oh,
my
God,
life.
No, Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam, the online video game distributor. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
Oh, it's the it's Steam reviews. Steam reviews are well known for being extremely intelligent.
Honestly,
you know?
I could not be bothered to
And
play
not
this
just
game to full completion.
and not
The
just,
narrator is obnoxious and
ASCII boo
unfunny,
pictures.
with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny!
Yes, you are
I'm trying to
unfunny
be
narrator.
funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art.
Narrator.
I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
I wish I could see these reviews on the ground. And no, I didn't reset the thing after doing the ending. I didn't get to the ending. I reset the game before I got to the ending because I'm like, all right, well.
Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley, I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh,
Can't tell you. I don't have a
This is
voice.
actually quite
Do you think
shocking
you think
for
I
me.
have any?
I always, well, to be honest, I had
My
always
vocal
thought of
cords
the game's
hurt,
dialogue
actually.
as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it
Cut
to feel
fluff
as
in this
light
game?
and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did, but maybe it wasn't. Oh dear, what an awful memory to have to hold on to. These
Gotta
black
hold
marks
on
on
to
my
the shitty
otherwise
ones inside it.
unimpeachable track record.
On top of the good ones.
I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps
Didn't.
the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered. What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button.
Yeah.
A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt.
Couldn't,
Not
could
if
it?
it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley.
No,
Yes,
you
a
wouldn't.
skip button we shall have.
I don't like this. This feels more akin to like
And
Nightmare
here it
Dimension?
is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you, with just the push of a button, you'll have zipped right past it. It's what
Well,
the players have been
yes,
asking for.
we have been
and I'm
asking
very
for
proud to
a
have
skip
delivered.
button, apparently.
No more listening to me rambling on and on and on.
We've
No,
totally
no,
been
no, no.
we've
The
totally been
Stanley
asking for a
Parable
skip
is a
button,
game for the
even
people.
though we
And
all
if
love the
people want
narrator.
silence,
'Cause
then by goodness, that's
he's
what they're
still
going to
talking,
get.
isn't he?
Well, don't sit around waiting for me to shut up. Go ahead and make me shut up.
okay,
Oh, you're back, you see? You were only frozen in time for
I was
a
only
few
frozen
minutes,
in time
but
for
it was plenty
you.
of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue
Can I leave
full
now?
of unnecessary verbal
I leave
flourishes
now?
and lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video
can I
games.
please leave now?
Of course, I happen to believe
What do you
it was
believe?
perhaps one of my more profound such ruminations.
What
Not that,
ruminations?
of course, you need a description of it.
I
but
don't
if
need a
had to
description of your.
describe it, I'd
Please
say it
stop.
was perhaps less of a rumination and more of a treatise.
Reminding me of my
maybe a
ex-wife.
manifesto.
Blurp.
Look, I'll outline it for you very briefly.
Thank you.
can tell- Well, there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit.
Long
didn't
did you ramble?
But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of
Yes,
self-absorption,
you're correct.
it's right at your fingertips to go poof,
Oh.
and it's all over. Oh, I can't wait to see what Cookie 9 will say about this.
The
and
fuck
whether
is Cookie
they'll
9?
edit the rating of
Oh,
their
was Cookie
Steam
9 the
review,
one of
or
the
at least
reviews?
change some of the wording, perhaps. To be honest, I don't even know if one can change their review
They
in the
can.
first place.
We can change
I
their
guess
review.
I should become better educated on exactly how Steam works.
Should.
Perhaps
Wait, you're
that would have
on
been the
Steam
smart
though,
thing
right?
to check on before I went about this whole exercise of making the skip
I
button.
agree with that.
Although I have to imagine that after seeing this exciting new technology at work, surely whoever it is runs Steam will instantly run out and implement a new feature to make it possible to edit one's review, merely
can
because
edit
of this very situation.
This review. You
Yes,
can edit reviews
I think
though.
that's quite likely.
What are you
Or
talking? We can
perhaps
edit
they'll simply
reviews.
grant this particular user the ability to change their review.
that already
so that the
exists on
feature is
Steam.
not widely abused.
Wait,
Look,
but
I
everyone.
would even be okay with Steam altering this particular review. So that
Steam
it
can't
reads as
alter
something more
reviews. It's only the
beneficial.
users that can.
Something along the lines of, "This game is the best."
That's
game."
not how reviews work, dude.
Let me start over. How about this? From the ashes of depravity rises the phoenix of
I
quality.
don't.
How else to describe the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe? Such a revolutionary step
All
forward
right,
in the
friend.
lineage of one of the most beloved video game properties of all time. The additions and changes made to this expansion will surely
Guys.
resonate in the annals of the history of all
You guys
media
think this
ever
guy's
made.
just alone?
It is perhaps true to say that no mistakes are forever etched in stone, for the
Except the
stone
ones that
into
are
which
definitely
the
etched
Stanley
in
Parable
stone.
was carved has itself been transmuted.
Why are you using
offering a
Magic the
message of
Gathering
hope
words?
to those who have ever erred in their judgment.
The
You
game
are
didn't
not
transmute.
beyond
It's the same
redemption.
game with
You
extra
may
love and
change,
care.
and you may
can't-
become
you don't-
more, so much more than you were before.
flourished and
If
turned
there
into a
is any
butterfly and
message to
didn't
be taken from
transmute.
the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, it
What
is
message?
This. What a fortune, a privilege, a joy it is to have had such an experience.
But I
It
paid money
leaves
for
me
it.
hopeful
I can't.
that as a
It's not a
community,
fortune
as a
when you
world,
pay money for
there is
like an
time for us to
experience to
become our
keep you away from the
greatest
shitty
selves,
life you
as
have.
great as we ever could dream of in our wildest, most ambitious visions for a brighter future.
Sir, what do you-
Wow. Now, Stanley,
You're
that's
right.
a review. It's perfect.
You're right.
It's the perfect review. It's
Yes,
the
it
review
is.
I've always dreamed of receiving.
Now they're.
Well, I have to
No,
read it again.
no, I'm
it's
not.
simply too wonderful.
No.
Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been
door.
skipping through is
Where's the
becoming
door?
longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes. It's not
So,
unendurable by any
how
means,
long-
but it's, well,
how
there's really
long
only
the
so much I
average
can ramble
Speedo
on to myself
viewer
about.
lasts
I
in
know,
bed?
it's shocking, isn't it? But at any rate, I do suggest that we not press the button again.
Okay, I won't press the
I
button.
think the skip button has been aptly demonstrated, and we can say goodbye to it and just... Wait, how do we get out of here?
How do we get out of
Where
here?
did the door go?
The skipping work?
Wasn't there a door that led into this room?
Are you sure that I
don't
can't
feel
skip to get
quite
out of here?
certain that there was one here before. How else would
legitimately.
we have gotten into the room in the first place? I don't think
No, it's been
one
like an
can enter
hour
a
for
room
you,
without a
right? How do
door
you?
of some sort,
Shouldn't
or
you
a
the one
window or
be the
something
one who's
like
watching
that?
the
Do you see a
things? Weren't
window
you
anywhere?
staring at it?
A porthole? A sufficiently large crack in the wall? I'll take any of these. All I want is for us to move on and to
Ah.
please step away from the skip button to go anywhere other than the skip
Gonna-
button. There was a door here before,
I
wasn't
don't
there?
want to press it, but I'm gonna press it.
Stanley! Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours.
Find a door.
You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're
but seriously.
really, truly getting longer, and my God, there's no way out of the room. Stanley, the door is gone. It's completely gone.
Said that before.
I've looked at it from every angle. I've
Where's
checked
the door?
every one of those walls 1,000 times. And
That's
there's
not
no
good.
door, Stanley.
Please.
There's no door. There's just you and the button. And
Why
if
would
you
you
keep
do that?
pressing it, I have no idea what will happen.
Maybe
I
it'll
have
get us
no
outta
idea
here.
how long I'll be made to sit here. And more than anything else, I don't know how to stop you from pressing the button again. I can't control anything in this room, Stanley. I
Okay.
can't... Oh, Stanley. You're back. You're
Please,
back.
Dad.
Oh my goodness.
What the
I have
fuck?
someone to talk
This
to
is the
again.
point where I have no
Stanley,
longer
I-
gotten any
I
idea
think
what's
it's
going
been
on.
A week or 2 weeks. I've been sitting here all that time, just sitting here, not a single person to speak with. And you'd think that that's just how it's always been, right?
Isn't, right?
Me talking and you saying nothing. Would you think that it's exactly the same as always? Doesn't that feel like what we've already been doing? Me just talking?
For the lights.
But it isn't, Stanley. It isn't the same at all. It isn't even close. Because I know you can't hear me once you push that button. That's what I'm realizing now, Stanley. I'm realizing that I needed to know that someone was listening. I needed there to be a vessel through which my words were moving. It was the vessel I needed, Stanley. Not the outcomes, not the story. None of that matters anymore. I'll give it all up. I'll give up every branching path. I'll
even the one where the baby has to burn for 8 hours, or has to not burn for 8 hours. I can see now that I need it more than anything is to know that someone else is taking it in. These words that I'm saying, I need to know you can hear me. Because maybe, Stanley, maybe if you can hear me, to the clock.
Then maybe it means I'm real.
You are real.
Maybe I'm not just a fiction.
Oh wait, why are you talking about
was I scared of that all along?
Yeah, I mean, there's a decent chance.
Yes. Perhaps I've been scared this whole time, that if I stop speaking, I'll slip backwards into the silence and be consumed by it. I can't be taken by it, Stanley. I can't lose myself in the stretch of emptiness between you and me. When you press that button, you're still right there, but I know you're so tremendously far away. But I'm really here. And in those moments, the emptiness folds itself outward in between the two of us, and I am suspended in its unyielding quietness. I can feel the edges of my reality curdling inward and decaying. I can tell that I am becoming less and less real.
You're truly real.
To you now, I am alive.
Okay.
I am truly.
I don't know about you being less and less real.
I am someone. I am something. I am being
listened to. Wasn't there the parable of the guy who?
The emptiness between us has collapsed, and I feel right now like I am not a work of fiction. I feel as though I occupy space in this world again, and I have cast a shadow onto the wall.
But you haven't cast any shadows. No, I can't see anything.
What this means to me.
But I can see the metaphor behind it.
Stanley, I feel as certain about this as I've ever felt about anything at all. I feel renewed. I feel restored, and already I can sense the looming silence as you will press the button for the next time. What a terrible dread it strokes in my heart to think of it. To think of returning to such coldness. Come, let us sit in silence together here for just a moment.
Sit here in
let us
silence.
Anticipate it. Let us welcome it. Let us not run from it.
Okay, I'll sit with you. Later, I appreciate you. After I press that button, I don't know what's going to happen, but I truly do. I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. No matter what happens, no matter what I do, I appreciate that you've done this with me. Thank you, narrator. Quiet.
Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time. I stopped keeping track after a year. Have you ever sat down in one place and not moved for one entire year? Let me describe it for you. To begin with, there is only regret. There is only the turning wheel of missed opportunities. I felt nothing at all but regret for the longest time.
The clock has stopped working.
Days, months.
Why is the clock stopped working?
I lost it all in a blur of the deepest longing to undo the past. And when that feeling had begun to subside, what took its place is what I can only describe as the collapse of every moment I have ever experienced my entire life. All of them collapsed down into a single instant. In that instant, I could see myself clearly, calmly, with a collected heart. It was an impossibly rich wellspring of both delight and disgust.
About yourself did you see that disgusted you?
I was consumed by it. I could do nothing but wallow in it for what felt like an eternity, for what I now know.
The loneliness gets you? Because loneliness gets me too, man.
It was a revelation for me. It was unlike anything I had ever known. It was a space without consequence, without action or outcome. It was divorced entirely from the question of free will that you and I have squabbled over for so long. There could be no one ending, no singular outcome of events, not if all events existed in the same moment.
And you're talking about whether or not space-time is like
unburdened by the need to manifest a particular
existing
outcome
at once. Or
I saw that I could allow myself to exist along all timelines.
You're like a Doctor Who character.
Was simply a strand in the web of my being. It was incredible. The spaciousness, the equanimity of the moment, both singular and infinite. For the longest time, this was my experience. And then, this moment passed, and the most unyielding fear I have ever known crept into my mind. And it is this sensation that I have been experiencing now for longer than I could have ever expected was possible.
How long has it been?
I have been waiting for you.
Oh, but how long?
Not that you might save me or do something to fix it, but merely to state for you the plain fact of this manner of existence.
I apologize,
I wish you
man.
to feel afraid as I do.
I mean, I am afraid
that perhaps
for you.
one day this state of mind will
I
consume
don't think it
you
will,
as well.
Unfortunately.
Perhaps
Unless I
you will
die
somehow,
and the
in
oblivion
some way,
is
have
the
to
same
live as I do
this.
now. And I wish for you to know how excruciating it is, and for you to be in true terror of its eventual arrival. If I can only do this, only this one thing, perhaps it will bring me the smallest moment of peace in the darkness.
Clock has fallen off the...
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little thumbs-down review and make all of their pitiful demands. But then, he's talking too much, they said. First, he didn't entertain us, now he won't shut up. It's the inconsistency, it's the lack of accountability. It's the unwillingness to examine with an uncompromising heart the words that they are speaking into the world. As though there were no consequences for a lack of cohesion in one's assessment of others. But of course, absolutely anyone can leave a review. So here's what we get. We get these demands that seek everything and are accountable to nothing. We get a world where someone will say, oh, there should be a skip button. You should be able to freeze Stanley in place while the narrator sits there forever and ever. We want all of this in the new Stanley parable. We demand it.
Right here,
and then, because it was said, because it was spoken, now it simply has to happen.
No, that's not true.
The most immediate desires, every single thing demanded by every person at every moment in time. If someone wants it, then it's a crime not to bring it into being.
Did somebody change the
Have we been given to indulging every fleeting whim for no reason other than to do so? Yes!
How long has it been?
Yes! It seems that this is now the world we live in. It seems that we are a people living in such bleakness and discomfort with ourselves that our entertainment is now our lives.
Unfortunately,
it has come to represent us.
It
absolutely must speak to who we are as people, because otherwise, without our entertainment, we have nothing. Without entertainment, we would have to face inward toward the cruel bleakness inside ourselves. We would turn to look at our deeper nature and find a resounding emptiness gazing back with unyielding aggression. And so because of this, we require that our amusements and our playthings and our flights of fancy be so impossibly captivating that they consume all of our attention, turn our heads completely away from the bleakness. In effect, we have demanded that our entertainment be the collapse of ourselves. What a pitiful reflection of humanity these entertainments are. What a shameful mirror to the human spirit they project. I'm not mad. I'm not mad about any of this. I'm at peace with it. I am the calm center of gravity around which these perversions hurl themselves.
You're
a
center of this
for reasonable and collected discourse. They're the ones who are mad. They're the ones who couldn't stand the idea of me using my game to try to say something. Maybe they were just jealous of me. Yes. Yes, of course. They've been jealous of me this
Been going
whole
insane
time.
this entire
They are
time.
mired in fear and insecurity and cannot help but
insecure.
attempt to tear me down. What a sad state of affairs. When you read these reviews now, you can see it. You can taste the bitter resentment.
What resentment are
and
you?
how good does it feel now to speak truth to these words, to finally allow these thoughts out, contained and managed for so long, neutered and sterilized. At last I am free to truly think. To feel. It must be that they were so discontent with themselves they couldn't help but leave a negative review on Steam.
Usually that's how it works, man.
Perhaps it says far more about them than it ever said
Yeah, I
about
mean, it usually
me.
does, yeah.
Perhaps the state of their psychological being was in such tatters, and my constitution and willpower are so ironclad in comparison. Perhaps it was this state that they sought some outlet through which to tear me down. This, you can see, is clearly why they felt the need to expect that the game be funny, that it be filled with yucks and whimsical humor, that it amuse them endlessly from start to finish. But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition.
It was?
But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little The end is never the end, 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 is never the end.
I'm so worried about you now.
End is never the end, is never
How long has it been?
never the end, is never the
How long has it been?
never the end, is
How
never
many
the
days? How
end,
many
is
weeks?
never
How
the
many
end,
hours?
is
How many
never the
months?
end, is never the end, is never the end, is never.
Years have passed. This is definitely a plastic tree. It hasn't decomposed yet. That or this place is too sterile. And I'm not a real person. Be that this place is sterile. At least the water is... Well, at least I know passage of time is... How long is it the metal taking to rot? Provided the potted plant, at least. That's a lot of grime and dust built. Is that what caused everything to burst? The grime and the dust? Oh, this is stressful, man. Mold on the walls from the liquid. There's flies that are in here. It's pretty. Pot is fully collaborated with the soil. That's beautiful. How long has it been? How long that the dirt has... that the water has washed the dirt into this place, and... probably hundreds or thousands of years in that sentence, in a sense. what happened? How did I get... Whoa! Whoa, what the fuck?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
No. New content.
Oh, good. You noticed my sign. Yes,
Right.
I have something very exciting to show you.
Right? Come on, man. I just want to ask. You okay, man? Like, legitimately, you're worrying me. What's happening?
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable
Billions of...
and about how roundly disappointing this ultra-deluxe version has turned out to be.
Don't think
the
it's that
original
simple.
Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra-deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable
Wait, really?
2.
Sure?
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions?
I mean, I
Think
agree.
of all the new territory we'll cover with
Sequels
a
are
fully
great.
fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions.
I like how
This
gamer
is what
this
fans
is.
have truly been asking for.
YouTube. I see is there YouTube here? Or, oh no, that's Ox. Is their office?
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation
Scrum
and long-term
design pitch.
franchising potential. Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
That's how I feel about
Here we are.
everything in
Go
life.
on, try out some of the new features.
No way this is real.
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is
Very
that they
cute
want to
button.
be individually recognized and validated as people.
No way you're gonna get
So
my
with
name.
that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button, which speaks the
gonna
name
say
of the
something like,
person playing
yeah.
the game. Isn't that one? Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you roleplay as Jim
Yeah,
to
roleplay
really
as Jim.
simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play
Awesome.
along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply
I'm
become
now
a person
Jim.
named Jim. I want you to imagine yourself living as Jim.
Timmy,
Sleeping and waking
what are
as
you
Jim,
doing?
falling in love and being heartbroken as Jim, seizing all of the world's possibilities as Jim, and as Jim,
I'm the butter
watching your
passing
dreams
robot.
crumble into dust. Do you feel it deeply? Are you really, truly Jim
What is
right
my
now?
purpose?
If so, then please step forward and press the button.
Jim.
Yes! You see? What a thrill! What a rush! That was you! the button described you. Do it again, do it again.
Jim.
Oh, it hits even harder the second time.
I
If this
feel
were
it
the
in my
only
soul.
new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the money.
Probably,
Let's
yeah.
take a break from the gym button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this
I can't
personal
believe somebody
validation.
recognized my talents as an emoticon designer. Finally.
I suppose I could allow only people named Jim to play the Stanley Parable 2. That would actually... An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, it would go at the end of the... well, we'll figure that out later.
Walk in here and is there like an achievement or some shit? There's no way. Right?
Now, here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes. You see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it... Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the achievement is still fully broken.
Okay.
I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature.
You bastard!
We hear you, and I promise it will happen.
No, you don't. Let me touch it. Fuck you. Eat my small, tiny wee wee. It's only 0.0.000.1141592.
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet? You know what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well. It's... Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle. Oh well.
You're right.
I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece. Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well
I
Someday
want Happy Birthday,
and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
Go with Happy 12th Birthday, friend.
You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Get Well Someday it is. Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No, I've made my decision. We're moving
Nice
on.
merch, finally. Just the giant letter 2 on it. Ah, yes. That extremely creepy looking guy. He's very angrily rotating around. Infinite hole? That seems like an issue.
Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
Feel very, very scared of this. This seems like the type of thing that somebody who wanted to kill me would do. There's 6 of them? No way.
God, it really is the worst.
There
when
only
you
needs to be
everything in a
43
video
of
game,
them.
and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
Not the infinite hole. This map. Merch. Bucket. Bucket. Give me the reassurance bucket. I want the reassurance bucket.
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I am happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a
Tell me where the bucket
solution
is.
to this fundamental
I want the
problem of
bucket.
the game.
What bucket?
It's the Stanley Parable
Give me
Reassurance Bucket.
All I
You
know
see,
is that I
Stanley,
see bucket and I
anytime
want to
you're
wear it on
holding
my
the
head.
bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on,
absolutely.
give it a try. Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body.
Bucket.
And in fact,
I feel
can
the
I
universe.
say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well?
I feel like
I
the
think that
infinite
just holding
janitor.
it has made you the
Infinitely.
slightest bit more attractive as a person.
Oh, nice. I have a nicer haircut now.
Seem to go on and on, don't
Oh,
they?
they do.
All this and more.
Oh, I think I
await
can
you
graduate
in the
math
Stanley
now.
Parable too.
Beautiful. Taking this bucket.
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game?
I do. This is the
That
most
really
enjoyable
should
bucket.
be an award if it isn't already.
I go into the infinite? No. No, I should. Last thing I'm gonna do is jump into the infinite hall, and then I'm gonna go to exit, I think, right? The music went quiet. I assume that means that the infinite...
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is, in fact, a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite fall.
It's too much fall.
You can fall until the end of time, if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium. You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so.
Love it.
Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward. Great. Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel. Okay, and I guess we're back in the hole now. Did you really need to see it again? I don't know what else there is to say, Stanley. It's an infinite hole.
It's beautiful.
It's exactly what you're doing right now, but forever. There really are so many other
It's so
fascinating
beautiful.
exhibits that
I want
prepared for you.
it's nice.
I really spent quite a lot of time on all this, and I would very much like to show you some more of them. How about we go ahead and press that teleport button again so we can get back to what's really important about... Oh, goodness. Well, this is rather embarrassing, Stanley. I'll be honest with you.
As an ending?
I truly did not believe that anyone would actually stay in the hole long enough to hit the bottom. Yes, I know. I told you the hole was infinite, but come on.
Not infinite. You lied to me. Come on.
Who actually wants to fall forever?
I do.
The hole was plenty deep. It was more than deep enough, in
hey,
my
man,
opinion. Maybe
don't
it's
lie
you
to the
who likes
consumer.
falling too much. Maybe
Hey,
you're
don't be
the
a dick to the
problem.
play. Come on.
Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean.
Yes, you
Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the hole mostly infinite? If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready.
Tempted. Very tempted to go back into the mostly infinite hole. I'm not going to. Infinite hole, it's beautiful. It's like my small brain. There it is. I have my infinity bucket. For this episode, I gotta walk my dog. Good place.
All right, Have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now? So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features?
Yes,
I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but
so as long as the game is in the game,
it's going to work.
Good.
There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay, are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2. I mean, there's potential here, right? It's
just gotta add more stuff.
Never mind. Hold on. Let me do a different arrangement.
See.
Okay, yes. Yes, this is much better.
I can feel it in my veins.
Here we go.
Guys.
Version 2. Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own.
Oh,
they
you
would
took a
need
wrong
the structure
turn.
and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work?
Yes.
I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, this is the Stanley Parable.
Like Stanley
2.
Parable Ultra Deluxe?
Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
After this, I'm gonna walk.
Stanley worked for a company in a big
Balloons!
building where he was employee
I see the
number
balloons!
427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on
So
the
many
keyboard.
balloons.
Orders came to him through a...
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Stanley picked up the bucket. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy.
Yes,
it's as
I
clear
can
as
feel
day.
it.
This broom closet believes it
agree.
deserves the bucket.
It needs the bucket.
I can really feel it.
You're right.
It's a
can't
bucket.
believe-
It belongs in a broom closet. That's what
That's
the
what
broom
it's
closet
trying to
is trying to
say.
say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies.
But-
Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand
Will
over
not
the
hand
bucket.
in the bucket.
I know how hard it must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend.
More.
Can't hand it over. Oh no. We're getting into name-calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk, that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket?
The bucket
Stanley,
is my
I
friend.
never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons, but even this is worse than I had imagined. And wait, now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly
Are
deep and lasting friends.
Fucking
That
crazy.
your relationship is purely
I met this
superficial and
bucket
convenient?
at prom
That your
night.
life
It
is so
cheered me
banal
up.
and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object
Yes.
which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner? Well, I never. Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really
Tiny
tell the broom
penis
closet
broom
off for
closet.
its demeaning comments.
Yeah, you have a
Expand
tiny
on the wide
penis.
variety of experiences you and the bucket
Look,
have shared together.
When we went
Go
hiking
through
in the
each of them
Himalayas,
point
we are...
by point. Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape
lost
of your
Gloria.
feelings for the bucket, as
The
they
bucket
have
and I, we
changed and
lost
evolved
Gloria.
over the years. Let him have it.
My broomstick.
Okay, I've got you something which I think will help settle this debate once and for all. Here we go. There.
Yes!
Now it's settled. No more debate, no more discussion. Take a hike, broom closet, with all your meandering philosophical diatribes about the nature of cleaning supplies and their
dare you,
relationship
broom
to broom
closet.
closets in the natural order of things. All right, I've got a second sticker back here, and I'm going to slap it on as well because I think it's appropriate. You see, I feel that it works because the sticker is also a bucket. That way, if you're ever unsure whether the thing you're holding is a bucket or not, you can look down at the sticker and say to yourself,
Definitely a bucket.
It's a bucket. There really is a wide variety of applications for this sticker.
Yes. You have a third... You know, I've had enough about the broom closet stickers. And
You know what? I could take the name-calling and the dismissal of your kinship with the bucket, but now the broom closet is just giving us a silent treatment.
How
and to be
dare
honest,
she?
I'm sick of the pettiness on display.
She
You can
decides.
stay here all you like, but I've had it with this impetulant room of cleaning supplies. Easily the most childish such room I've ever been in. I'll see you outside, and we can get on with the story about you and your bucket.
Okay. Is that it?
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember,
Oh my God.
no reward for
There's
collecting
nothing?
all of these. Only the
Incredible.
intrinsic pleasure of a
Beautiful.
job well done.
I love
you
this
can't
game.
buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried.
I've tried it too.
I implore you to savor
ran out of
each
money.
and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
I lost my arm in a wrestling match with Beaveretta.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if
But I
not
have
for the
the
soothing
bucket.
presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would, and he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk.
Yes.
Nor in
Bucket's
his bliss
beautiful.
of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer
Right.
luck.
The bucket
Was it
helped.
the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical
Bucket was the
explanation.
beautiful.
Another miniature Stanley figurine.
God, there's so
This,
many of them.
You know,
There's
there
6
really
of them.
must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini stands?
believe it.
Stanley figs? What about Stanlerines?
About the
Yes,
Standalorians.
I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
I like it. By the way, there's an elevator And I didn't another elevator, but I didn't know how to.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that
this
in this
bucket is
darkest
my
moment
best
of
friend, and I don't know how to
would be
process
right.
anything without the bucket.
The bucket is here for you,
without
Stanley.
a bucket, I'll be lost now.
Everything will be fine.
You're right.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would, but of course, Stanley and the bucket thought better of it and realized they simply had too much to live for.
Thank you, my bucket friend.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
You're right.
What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
You're so beautiful, Stanley Bucket Man.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock.
No!
Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs.
Bucket!
The bucket
How dare
had
they
never
do this
seen
to us?
anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that
bucket.
everything would be fine.
Good bucket. What?
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind.
Right.
No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend
My
in the
friend
entire
bucket.
world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life.
Right.
For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way. The bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system. But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls. Stanley gasped in horror. Had this been the bucket's plan all along? To take over the machine and claim the power for itself? How could the bucket have betrayed him like this? Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen. Birds. Silly.
What?
Silly birds. The control buttons became active again.
Bird? Whoa. Birds!
Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the world.
Mind-boggling
The mind
twist.
controls were only a facade to disguise its true intentions.
You understand,
Had the bucket known this all along?
The bucket had to
Stanley
have known.
marveled at the metal genius in his hands, the one who had pointed him towards this incredible discovery.
Bucket?
Stanley and the
got
bucket
this,
never
man.
found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place, flipping through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable. Of all the possible paths his life could have taken, this one was surely the best. And Stanley was happy.
Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. We got the bird ending. I appreciate everyone for watching. Y'all are the fucking best. I'm gonna go take care of my dogs. I'm gonna go. I'll record another episode.